Hi, I'm Tim Rylatt, the Commercial Director from Growth by Design, and this is part 3 of our video series on marketing strategy development linked to stages of a customer journey. And part 3 is all about progressing your pipeline. By now, you will have been found, people will have been sharing information with you, some will be ready to go straight to an inquiry, and some will actually be contacts that you need to nurture and progress over time. And this video is about the different aspects of strategy that come in under those two titles, so inquiry management and prospect nurturing. I'm going to start with inquiry management. This is where you've got a prospect who in principle is ready to buy. They haven't yet said yes, but they're definitely making all the right noises. You know that they've got the capability to buy, you know that actually the timing is in principle correct, and what you've got to do is make sure you don't screw it up. So very simply, early on, make sure that the decision makers are involved. It's very hard to sell third parties, so as soon as you can in inquiry management, ask the question, who is it that's actually going to be making the ultimate decision on this? Is there anybody else that actually should be involved in our discussions, or needs to be informed, or is going to have a say on how this progresses between us? You need to get them involved early. You need to understand the context of who they are and what their considerations are going to be, and you need to start communicating with them. To do that, it very much will help if you actually map out the contact points of your inquiry process. So what happens at the initial inquiry? What happens at the information provision stage? Who's going to be involved actually in reading your proposals? Who's actually going to be at the meeting if you're going to do a presentation? Who's going to be signing off in the accounts department? And who's ultimately going to be using or benefiting from it? All of those contact points that you're going to have and all the different stakeholders all needs to come together, because each person has their own requirements. They all have their own domain, their own silo of responsibility, and they all have different ways in which their level of successful decision making is gauged. So to manage that, you need to have what we'll call pre-handlers. If you know that you're talking to somebody in the finance department and their number one thing is actually greatest value, lowest cost, well, make sure you understand what the objections are that they're likely to raise. It could be to do with actually the price. It could be to do with the way in which payments are made. It could be to do with lengths of contract and ultimate exposure in terms of cash. What are the things that are going to make them hesitate? What are the things that potentially would make it fall off the rails completely? And it's the same for each decision maker. Once you understand how the process is going to work and you know who's going to be involved and you've worked out what your messaging is, really important to maintain the momentum. Sales that stall very rarely pick up pace again quickly. And one of the ways to do that is actually to ensure that at each stage of the process that it's yourself in command, that there is always a future date set, or that it's coming back to you for the next decision. If you put it into their control, particularly where there are third party decision makers, you're going to find it's going to stall and you may well lose that opportunity. And as you move forward, you need to gain and document confident and clear agreement on what the next stage is and what the commitment is at each point. So go into it with a decision. At this point in the journey, this is what I'm looking for a commitment from them, and this is how that's going to be recorded or signed off against. The second aspect, that was inquiry management. The second aspect is prospect nurturing. So for the people that aren't yet ready to buy, it's largely about trust building, about education, about keeping them up to date with what your offer is, why you're beneficial, why you're relevant to them now. It's about sharing evidence, about proving where other people have made that decision confidently and benefited and actually walked the path that your prospect is about to walk. And you need to learn the time frame for the potential with your prospect. When are they likely to be ready to buy? When are they going to be in a position to move forwards? Make sure you've got it into your CRM or into your diary, and make sure you act on it, not at that point, but in advance. So just want to check we're ready for that March discussion. Let's get it diarised. I know it's February. I know you're busy. We want to make sure we're in a position to support you. Let's get that in right now. So inquiry management processes and prospect nurturing, this is all part of your marketing strategy. No point going out the door and generating a whole load of leads and then not knowing what to do with them. So that's the part 3 of our video on marketing strategy linked to customer journey stages. Hope you found it interesting and insightful. Please do feed us back any comments or thoughts, or if it's helped you in any way, I'd really love to know that. If you need any help in designing these things into your own company, please get in touch with us. Our details will be on the screen shortly. If you haven't watched the other videos in the series, please subscribe to it online. We're on our YouTube channel. We'll be delighted to see you join that fellowship. And yes, stay in touch. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks.